Welcome to Morning Infusion with Dr. V. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to become pregnant prior to nursing school and the journey be delayed? Well, my name is Dr. Viola Pierce. I am the owner and the CEO of VP Nursing and the Nurse Nurturer and the facilitator of Secret Suppers Worldwide with Dr. V, where our goal is to teach nurses to leverage the knowledge that they already know working from their computers around the world, creating generational wealth and owning their own time. Our goal is to come to you each Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to give you the fuel to crush your goals to show up exceptional on a daily basis. Know that one of the goals of Morning Infusion with Dr. V is to expose you to leaders that have overcome so that you know that the possibilities are endless. You can follow us on Twitter at the Nurse Nurturer, Instagram at VP Nurse, and if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. We have a group called the Nurse Nurturer on Facebook that you can join to receive uplifting content, and all the links will be in the bio. Visit us at our website at vpnursing.com, and remember to hit the calendar link if you want to create another stream of income and enroll in our 12-week course, VP Nursing Business Academy. Our special guest today is Dr. Lang. Dr. Shawanda Lang graduated with a BSN from North Carolina Central University in 2014. Dr. Lang then went on to pursue her master's and earned her MSN from Barton College in Wilson, North Carolina. Old stomping ground in 2018. In order to serve her patients effectively, Dr. Lang began to climb the clinical ladder and became a clinical nurse 3 on her unit, where she was utilized as leadership and as a resource for both patients and her peers. Dr. Lang earned her doctorate of nursing practice degree from Gardner-Webb University in 2020. She is currently the nurse manager for the Urology Procedure Clinic. She is a mother of her 21-year-old son, a proud member of Delta Sigma Theta Incorporated, and she serves as the vice president for the nursing alumni at North Carolina Central University. So, yay! I'm super excited. Oh, Delta! Oh, Delta!
Yes.
So now, what was your primary reasoning for becoming a nurse?
My primary reason becoming a nurse, well, at a young age, my mom, she made us volunteer. So at the age of 16, I volunteered as a candy striper. I went in, absolutely loved it. It kind of gave me a little spark. In high school, I then went on and joined HOSA, which is the Health Occupation Students of America. And then that kind of just gave me a little bit deeper, like, oh, okay, let me see what this is about. So it was a way that I could really find a career that will pay the bills, but also feed my passion for caring for people.
Gotcha. I love it. Anne Marie Tolman, who is our friend, she said, "Hey, Dr. Lang." Now, when we first talked, you talked about being pregnant prior to going to nursing school. What were your thoughts when you found out that you were pregnant?
It was like I was devastated. I was young, did not know exactly what I was going to do. Luckily, I had a support system. My mother, my family, just all gather around me and just let me know that it was not too late for me. So I just kind of picked up the pieces. Really, my son gave me a bigger purpose, something to drive, just to keep going for. So it was devastating. It was hard. It made it even 10 times tougher than what it would have been. But he was the one that just gave me that extra drive of I don't have any choice but to succeed.
Gotcha. So now, how was that telling your mama for the first time? I remember being pregnant, right?
Mm-hmm.
I remember being married, out of school and
Mm-hmm.
being pregnant. And
Right.
I was like, hey, I'm not going to tell her that I didn't have sex.
Well, for me, it was, I didn't get a chance to tell her.
Oh,
Yeah. So
that turned out.
yeah. So it actually happened where I had to go to the emergency room, and that's how she found out I was pregnant. Uh,
Wow.
yeah. But it was just it was devastating because I felt like I had let her down. I felt like she was disappointed. But as a mother love, she just like, hey, we're gonna get through this together. So I could not have done anything without my mom. So it was hard telling her, but she was my number one cheerleader.
I love it. I love it. So now, when we also spoke about you failing out of nursing school. Tell me about how you felt when you first received the news of that.
Oh my gosh. So I can remember that day vividly. I remember sitting to the kitchen table and just thinking to myself, all I need is a 77.5. That's all I needed to go on to the next semester. So I just remember opening up my computer, opening up my laptop and looking and scrolling, and I'll get to that grade and I see 77.4.
Wow.
So you could just imagine my heart just fell. And I was like, I think I went through every stage of grief within 30 minutes. Every all 5 stages in 30 minutes. I just went through it. And I was devastated. I was embarrassed. I was angry. I felt defeated. Uh, it was like I just didn't know what I was going to do. So it was hard. But with those 5 stages of grief, comes acceptance. So I had to accept, this is what it is. I think I even went through the bargaining, calling my professors like, can I get a point? But just really having that acceptance, like this is what it is. What are you going to do moving forward? So that's what I had to do.
I
It was,
love it.
yeah, it was devastating.
I love it. I love it that moving forward, because the reality is that a lot of people, once they receive that news, then they stop.
Yeah.
And your purpose, can't be stopped. If you're going to live in a place of being uncomfortable. If
Mm-hmm.
you stay in a place of being comfortable, you are not growing, period. So
Exactly.
you have to be very good. You have to be very comfortable being uncomfortable.
Exactly. Exactly. And I look back and I think that all of this happened for a reason. I hindsight, they say hindsight is 2020. I look back and I say, that door was closed for a reason. But in that moment, when you're sitting in that moment, you don't realize that. You don't realize that. It doesn't. It takes a while, a little while for you to kind of look back and reflect and say, okay, now I see the purpose now.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Because when I was in school, I went to school a little bit before you did. Yeah, I was that in 2014. I was like, so when I was in nursing school, I was an LPN, and then once I couldn't go any further, and that was devastating for me. But I think one of the things that's very different in our two stories is that I knew well before that I wasn't gonna make that higher GPA in order to move forward. I knew I wasn't going
Right.
to. And so, I was prepared for it. But when you're not prepared for it,
Mm-hmm.
and it hits you by surprise, and that's the reason why, I ask God all the time, please, please help me,
Yes.
be prepared for whatever you're sending my way.
Mm-hmm.
And that is huge. Now, in picking up the pieces to get back into school, who was the one person that was influential in helping you pick up the pieces?
Well, I can't say one person.
Okay.
I can't say one. There was many. But first and foremost, I said it was God. Because God seems to give you what you need right when you need it. And in that moment when I saw that 77.4, in that moment, I needed to hear his words. And he was able to speak those words to me through I think my son was like 7, 8 at the time.
Okay.
So he was able to speak those words through my son to me. And, I was just remember crying, and my son was like, Mommy, it's going to be okay. And not in these exact words, but he pretty much told me that a delay does not mean a denial.
Ah.
And I just remember him saying, like, you can do all things through Christ that strengthens you, Mommy.
Oh.
And, I just remember saying, okay, at that moment when he said those words to me, it was like this peace that came over me. And I was like, okay, this is going to be okay. It's not the end of the world. It's going to be okay. I can move forward. Um, so it was my son. Of course, like I said, my mother, she had, helped me pick up the pieces. I remember thinking afterwards, like, what am I going to do? How I'm going to move forward? And I remember, having this brilliant thing of just coming to my mind, I'm going to go to NCCU. Now, granted, I have no family in Durham. So I'm in Greenville, North Carolina, or matter of fact, I'm living in Ada, North Carolina at the time. Have no family in Durham at all, but I always wanted to go to a HBCU. So I said, you know what, this is something I always wanted to do. I'm going to do it. So I went online and I applied. And the first thing I saw was the application fee. And I was like, I don't have no money.
Your application fees.
So I remember going to my mom and, telling her this big grand idea that I had. And she was like, okay, well, just put it on my credit card and go ahead and apply. And a couple weeks later, I got accepted into NCCU. So I thank my mom for helping me pick up those pieces. And then I would say my friend at the time, I had one friend that lived in Durham, and I was telling her, I got accepted. And she's also a nurse. And she was working at Duke at the time. And she said, but I don't know what I'm going to do. I mean, my mom is offering to keep my son till I can get myself on my feet. And she's like, well, why don't you come live with me? So, and I said, okay. So she helped me pick up the pieces. So it was many people that helped me pick up the pieces. Also, I have to say, while I was in nursing school in the ADN program, I used to keep a elderly lady, and her family was phenomenal. Like, they encouraged me, they supported me, even, and her family is like all medical. Her daughter is a nurse. Her son-in-law is a nurse anesthetist. So it was like all medical. I was embarrassed to tell them that I had failed out of nursing school, but they encouraged me, like, just apply back, and just saying, you can do this. It's hard, it's tough, but you can get back on the horse and, do what you got to do. Yeah.
That's right.
Big girl pants on. So I said, okay. And throughout that, they have helped me, not just in that moment, but all the way through nursing school. I have to say thank you, especially to Beth Hunsucker-Burnett. She was one of my biggest cheerleaders.
Love it, love it, love it. So if you are watching and there is someone who has inspired you, who has helped you, put the comment in the chat, because a lot of times, we pour out into people. And so a lot of times what happens is we don't ever hear about it, right? And so I encourage you to put the comment in the chat, or, tag them to this post so that they know that they have helped you through this journey. Whatever your journey is, whatever healthcare journey that you have, you want them to know that they've helped you, and to give them thanks and gratitude, because that's huge. Now, what was your primary reason for seeking your DNP in nursing?
I would have to say, I got to thinking about it. And I was like, okay, first of all, I'm not a young chicken. So I'm not a spring chicken at all.
I don't know. You said 2014. I think that you are.
But remember, my journey started late.
Okay, all right, I'll give you that.
So my journey was not easy. And one thing that I always said to myself is that you work this hard to get at this moment right here. You're going to make this count. So working in a big institution, one thing that I did realize very fast and was able to observe is that in upper leadership, there wasn't many that looked like me. And I wanted to be able to have a seat at the table, and no matter what. And I felt like, obtaining my DNP was one way. And as my great soror said, Shirley Chisholm, if they do not give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. So to me, obtaining my DNP was like bringing my folding chair to the table. And to me, I joke with my friend that went to school with me. She went to graduate school with me. I said DNP doesn't stand for Doctor of Nursing Practice. It stands for I did not procrastinate. I did not ponder if I was worthy of this, and also it's a diva with a new passion.
I
So,
know that's
so I,
love that.
so it was really a way that I could just, make sure that um, I was ready for any opportunity that came my way. I wanted to be able to say yes. I wanted to be aligned to say yes. When those opportunities, am I qualified? Yes. Am I knowledgeable? Yes. Am I ready? Yes. So that was one of the reasons why I, wanted to go on and get my DNP.
I think that's value in a lot of things that you said. Number one, you failed out of nursing school the first time, but you were able to come back and like almost slingshot back into your DNP. You know what I'm saying? And be very, very intentional about that. A lot
Mhm.
of times, again, people fail and then they think that it is, that is it. That's I'm done for. No, 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 no. Keep it moving. I
Right.
didn't get my DNP until 2019, and when I got my DNP, I mean, I was in my late 40s, right? And but it is not a denial, but there is another thing, is that you want to make sure that you have that seat at the table, because the reality is that in the communities in which we live, it's a lot of African American presence, and so you want to make sure that you are that representation that really tells the people at the table kind of how it is in our world, right? Because it is different. I mean, no matter what we want to do and no matter how we want to think about it, it is different where we are. So I'm super excited about that. Now, what are some of the goals that you plan to achieve now that you've reached this pinnacle in nursing academics? What are some of the things that are on your vision board?
Oh, okay. Woo. So some of my goals is I want to continue to grow in leadership. Looking to transitioning into the academia world. I feel like it's important, especially with Black nurses. We think that there's like this huge shortage of nurses when in reality there's a shortage of the professors, and we don't have enough instructors out there to bring these people in. Also, I see so many students like me that struggle and just don't even, am I going to make it? It's hard. I failed out. I have one young lady right now that I mentor to. She's failed out of nursing twice, and I called and I said, so are you going to apply back? This is not the end. What, are you going to apply again? And she was like, this is, I said, well, if this is your dream, then go after it. If it's your dream to do, go after it. You can do this. You just have to be focused. So transitioning to the academia, I think that's one of my biggest goals. I'm excited about. I want to continue to volunteer by building my nonprofit. That's one thing I've always have done. I was able to give scholarships to nursing students. So that's something I want to continue to be able to do, help someone that's not just a single mother, but in this economy that we're in, we're all struggling. So helping a student just get through, and even if it's just buying one book, or buying their uniforms for clinicals. So that's one of my goals. On my vision board, whew, let's see. I have
Because I think now, let me tell you, I think that your vision board should be the thing. So, I look at my vision board as that thing. I'm gonna have my job focus around my life. And I
mhm,
think that a lot of times people do it just the opposite, right? We have our life focused around our job. And the
right.
reality is that you need to change that thing. I need to be very, very intentional about moving my life forward so
Yes.
that my job can mirror the
My,
two, right?
exactly. Now that's a word.
I mean, I love it.
So on my vision board, I would say property ownership is on my vision board. Um,
Ah,
yeah, property ownership. Traveling the world. I want to see, I think it's important that we get to um, experience was just beyond what we see here. So traveling across the world, around the world, that's one of my on my vision board, and becoming a healthier me in 2021.
We
You
just talked about that.
Yes, we did. We touched bases. But yes, becoming a healthier me 2021. And that just not just in the physical, but mental and spiritually, just becoming healthier.
Gotcha. I love it. I love it. So, the Facebook user, so whoever this Facebook user is, if you allow StreamYard to have permissions to see you. So this is apparently one of my nieces or nephews. Thanks, Auntie Viola Coppage, Pierce, for helping me through my journey. And then Viola, I hope you already know this, but in case I did not make it clear, you were a huge inspiration for me. And so whoever that is, I just, I love you. I love you. I love you. And then someone says, that's so amazing, Dr. Lang. You're amazing. I love it. I love it. So now in nursing, who is someone that you look up to and how have they impacted your career?
Yeah, it's actually two ladies. Well, I'm gonna start off with two. Like I said, I've never just had like one or two, but two women that I would love to be able to really personally thank them. So if I throw these names out there and anyone knows them, please let me know how to get in contact with them, because I would really love to personally thank them. But as I stated before, started off volunteering in the hospital, and I met two women at the time, two young Black women. One, her name was Sensei Joyner. Um, I think she's Neil now. I'm not for sure. And the other, her name was Angela Ingram at the time. And two Black young ladies. And I witnessed how they cared not just for their patients, but just for their profession. And I went home like my first day of volunteering. I was like, I want to be a nurse. That's what I want to be. So that kind of sparked my interest, like I just saw these two fun. I mean, I just thought they were amazing. So I was like, that's what I want to be when I grow up. So they were two that really impacted my nursing career, because they the one that really introduced me, like, this is what true nursing is. Two other would be my past nursing professors, an instructor, Angeline Baker, who's also my Sarah. I love her to death, and also Silverberg. Both of these ladies are my mentors. I call them to this day, say, hey, this is the situation I'm having. Talk me through this, or either talk me off the ledge.
You gotta have those friends.
Yeah.
You gotta have those friends.
Exactly. So those are my past instructors. They have impacted my career in a big way. And also, I would say Sarah Howell. She was my first nurse manager that I worked underneath, and she really showed me. She showed me. I can't even say she taught me, because it wasn't like she was meant, but she showed. And I don't think she understood that she was presenting this to me, but she showed me what true leadership was. She was a nurse manager that would get in the weeds with you, and she wouldn't just say, "Hey, do this," but she'll get out there and do it with you. And that showed me that was a difference between leading and being a manager. So yeah, she was very, she impacted. And I will also say Jamila Ezel, she's a director at UNC. She has taught me what it is to be a boss. Like, she is she is a true go-getter, and she has poured into me. I've only known her for a short amount of time, like a little over a year, but she has been such an inspiration. She showed me that you can accomplish anything if you put your mind and put your heart into it. So these are just a few ladies that have impacted my career.
I love it. I love it. So that was Elizabeth Cox. And so Elizabeth, I love you. She just graduated with her FNP. And so she's on her way to an amazing journey. And, someone, when you talk about nurse managers, my nurse manager, my first nurse manager was Pat Proctor, and I remember her. I had a patient who was bleeding out, and I was a very, very new nurse, and I remember sitting there, and I continuously called the doctor. And I remember her coming in, and I said, "This lady is not well." I said,
Mhm.
"She looks white as a sheet." I said, I've called him 3 times, and he's not coming in." And she got on that phone and she was like, "Look, you coming in here."
Right.
And I mean, she taught me, to use my voice and be like, "Look, this is not, we ain't playing games here. These
Exactly.
are patients' lives. You need to get your hind parts up and you need to come on in here." And
Yes.
so that thing just changed my life. But I love you, Elizabeth. Just to let you know. And I love you, Pat. So now, what is some advice you would give anyone who is trying to go into nursing, actually nursing and nursing leadership for the first time?
I would say the first tidbit of advice is to be dedicated. It's going to take some dedication, especially nursing school. There's going to be some times where you're not going to be able to attend that family gathering. You're not going to be able to go out with your girlfriends or your guy friends, because nursing school is a different beast. So you have to be prepared. You have to be dedicated.
What do we talk about? We talk about them 4 answers.
Yeah,
All 4 of them are right.
all right. You got
You
to
just
pick the
gotta
right
get the bed
one.
right.
So you have to put in the work. And I think with leadership the same way. You have to put in the work. My being on a new unit now, or in a new clinic, leading a new clinic, that was the one thing I feel if you put in the work and you show the staff that you're leading, that you can get in there with them, and that you understand, and you listening to them as well. You will have It will make life a lot easier for you. So but I would say another tidbit of advice is have a support system. I have my mentors I can call on. I have my nursing friends that I can vent to, that understands. I have those other people that's in leadership. And you need that in nursing school as well. You need those friends, that because your other friend's not going to understand it.
That's right.
You can't go out this weekend either. I mean, we literally had parties at my home, just study parties, so we
Mhm.
have like Jeopardy night. So
Yeah.
you're going to have that support system, and you're going to have it during your career. You're going to have it in nursing school. My last advice is just never give up.
Mhm.
You're going to get knocked down. Some doors going to get closed. I'm that type of person. A door closed, I'm going to open the window.
Yeah, you better jump in.
Exactly. And you may hear 1,000 no's, but it only takes one yes. So
That's right.
just never give up.
And that one yes is the one yes for you. So you
Yeah.
see, life is not happening to you, it's happening for you. And I used to always think that life was happening to me. And
Mhm.
then when I changed my perspective and I understood that no, it is happening for you.
Yeah.
Each and every step, each and every door that the Lord closed, that was a door that I did not need to walk through.
Mhm.
Hindsight is 2020, and understanding that is huge. And that discipline, right? And so, my husband knows at 9 o'clock at night, it's a wrap. I'm trying to go to bed, okay? At 9 o'clock at night, I will kick and scream until he turns the TV off, okay? Or either goes in another room. Because at 9 o'clock at night, I need to keep on my routine of going to sleep. I get up at 4 a.m. because millionaires get up at 4 a.m., right? And so it is you need to get up, you need to create that disciplined life in order for you to move forward with your life. So that is so, so true. So now, how do you define wealth?
Ooh, okay. So if you would have asked me this pre-nursing school, if you would have asked me, I would have went directly to financial assets. But today, I would say I would define wealth as being able to provide for my family, having sufficient shelter, food, clothing, a peace of mind. My family is blessed. I'm blessed. And although I don't have all my wants, I have all my needs. So I feel like that's my wealth. That's my wealth.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So thank you, Dr. Lang, for coming here today. My name is Dr. Viola Pierce. I am the owner and the CEO of VP Nursing and the Nurse Nurturer and the facilitators of Secret Suppers Worldwide with Dr. V, where our goal is to teach nurses to leverage the knowledge that they already know, working from their computers around the world, creating generational wealth and owning their own time. Our goal is to come to you each Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to give you the fuel to crush your goals to show up exceptional on a daily basis. Know that one of the goals of Morning Infusion with Dr. V is to expose you to leaders such as Dr. Lang that have overcome so that you know that the possibilities are endless. You can follow us on Twitter at The Nurse Nurturer, Instagram at VP Nursing. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. If you're not watching on YouTube, go hit the subscribe button. We now have a group called the Nurse Nurturer on Facebook that you can join to receive uplifting content for healthcare professionals. And remember to hit the calendar link above if you want to create another stream of income in our 12-week course, VP Nursing Business Academy. You guys have a phenomenal, phenomenal day. It's been fun.